Here's something that's going to sound wrong. Being smart is not helping your career. In some cases, it's the exact thing quietly blocking your next promotion. Forget lack of skill, forget bad luck, forget the boss just doesn't like me. The real reason brilliant people get passed over has almost nothing to do with intelligence and everything to do with how intelligent brains are wired to sabotage themselves. Psychologists have a name for this: cognitive bias, mental shortcuts that make you faster at solving problems and slower at getting promoted. The cruelest part is that these habits don't feel like mistakes while you're making them. They feel like maturity, like being responsible. That's exactly why they're so hard to catch, and why brilliant people spend years wondering what's wrong with them, when nothing is wrong with them at all. Their intelligence is just aimed in the wrong direction. Stay for number 3, because that one has a name almost nobody outside of Harvard research has heard of, and once you hear it, you will see it in your own behavior immediately. If you recognize 4 or more of these, there's a strong chance one of them is the exact thing standing between you and your next title. Habit 1. The indispensability trap. You do your job so well that your boss quietly decides to never let you leave it. It sounds like a compliment. It's actually a cage. One banking executive put it bluntly: companies don't promote people who do their job well. They promote people who show they can perform the level above them. If you spend every day perfecting today's work, you're proving you belong exactly where you already are. Being irreplaceable at your current level is the fastest way to stay there forever. Here's the part that stings. The better you get, the more your manager needs you exactly where you are, and the more expensive it becomes to let you go. Your excellence becomes their comfort. You think you're building a case for promotion. You're actually building a case for staying. Habit 2. The invisible achiever. This one runs on a cognitive bias called the curse of knowledge. Once you understand something deeply, your brain assumes everyone else can see it too. So you finish great work, and you assume your results will simply speak for themselves. They won't. Your boss isn't in your head. They don't see the failed approaches before you found the right one. All they see is the final, effortless-looking result, and effortless-looking results are dangerously easy to overlook. Companies don't hire ghosts. If your best work happens behind a closed door, decision-makers don't experience it as brilliance. They experience it as nothing. And here's the trap inside the trap. The smarter the solution, the more invisible the effort behind it looks, which means your best work is often the work least likely to get you noticed. Habit 3. The perfectionist paradox. Here's the one I told you to wait for. It's called analysis paralysis, and it's one of the strangest cognitive traps in psychology because it only affects people smart enough to see every possible flaw in their own work. Less capable people finish and ship. Highly intelligent people see 10 ways a project could go wrong, so they keep refining, keep polishing, keep waiting for perfect. Harvard research found that chasing perfection actually prevents you from doing meaningful work at all. Your intelligence isn't slowing you down because it's weak. It's slowing you down because it's too good at finding problems that don't need solving yet. The same trait that makes you excellent at your job is quietly convincing you that nothing is ever ready to be shown to the people deciding your next promotion. Habit 4. The imposter identity. When you've spent your whole life being the smart one, failure stops being a mistake. It becomes a threat to your entire identity. So your brain does something sneaky. It quietly avoids situations where you could fail publicly. Psychologist Carol Dweck calls this a fixed mindset, the belief that your ability is a fact about you rather than something you build. Ironically, that means the smartest person in the room is often the one least willing to raise their hand for the promotion that requires proving something new. A stretch role doesn't just risk a bad quarter. It risks the identity your self-worth is built on, so the safest move always feels like staying where your competence is already proven. Habit 5. The people-pleasing pitfall. Smart people get good at being useful early, so they keep being useful forever. They say yes to everything, become the reliable one, and quietly disappear into the background of everyone else's priorities. One career coach's warning is blunt: say yes to everything, and you become indispensable, not promotable. High performers keep their heads down. High potentials speak up. If you never say what you actually want, your boss will assume, correctly or not, that you're exactly happy where you are. You become the person every team depends on and no leadership committee thinks to mention, because being needed everywhere isn't the same as being seen as ready for more. Habit 6, the comfort zone curse. This one runs on something called status quo bias, and it's not really about ambition at all, it's about loss. Behavioral research shows humans feel losses almost twice as intensely as equivalent gains. So even a better role can feel like a risk, because moving up means giving up the routine, the seniority, the thing you already know you're good at. Smart people rationalize this beautifully. They call it being cautious. It's actually fear dressed up in logic, because intelligent brains are exceptionally good at building convincing arguments for staying exactly where they are. You don't notice you're doing it. You just notice, a year later, that you never actually applied. Habit 7, the expert blind spot. Brilliant people tend to believe intelligence is the whole game. It isn't. Research on career outcomes has found that traits like discipline, reliability, and social skill predict success more than raw IQ. If you're heads down solving problems alone while ignoring relationships, mentoring, and influence, you're not building a case for leadership. You're building a case for staying a specialist forever. You could be the smartest person in the building and still get passed over, because promotions aren't given to the person who knows the most. They're given to the person everyone trusts to lead. Trust isn't built by how many problems you solve alone in a room. It's built by how many people you make better on the way there. 7 mental habits. Notice something about all of them. Not one is about a lack of talent. Every single one is your intelligence, quietly turned against you. The curse of knowledge convinces you people already understand your value. Analysis, paralysis convinces you good isn't good enough yet. Status quo bias convinces you that staying still is safe. These biases don't feel like weaknesses from the inside. They feel like reasonable thinking. That's what makes them so dangerous. And that's exactly why the smartest people in the room are so often the ones still waiting for a promotion that never comes. So here's the real question. It was never, are you smart enough? It was always, which of these 7 traps is your intelligence currently building for you? How many did you recognize? 2? 5? All 7? The moment you can name the trap, you take away its power. That's not a motivational line. That's just how cognitive bias works. Awareness is the exit. If this made you see your own habits differently, that's exactly what the Mind Forge is for. Subscribe, because the next video might name the one habit you haven't caught yet.